Hey guys, here to bring you a deck profile on Wizards from Magic World. And I've been testing this out for a little while. I kind of like this build. I'm hoping to pick up some Mary Sues soon, but no one really at my locals has any. Hopefully I'll get them soon and I can update the deck for you later. But here goes. For my buddy, I'm playing Magician of Glass, Will, Glass Art. Just because I personally think it's a pretty good card, because if you deal damage to your opponent, you can just pay a gauge and then you draw a card. So I pretty much use him as my draw engine, other than nice ones and koshers and things like that. Alright, let's get on to the full deck. First we're going to start off with 2 Hardies. I really like this card a lot. Sometimes it is a little hard to, trying to think of the word. I have a brain fart, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, if it's worth paying 3 gauge for sometimes, because a lot of the times when I get it in my hand, I have other spells that I want to play, like Nice One, but then sometimes I just risk it and then just Nice One and try to get into like a Solomon so I can fill up my gauge again. But yeah, really love this card. Pretty cheap too. Alright, next we have Herb Magician. I like this card just because it makes your Nice Ones free, so you don't have to pay any gauge or anything. I'm not sure if I want to play 2, but I think 1 is fine for right now. Playing 3 Fire Starters. I really like this card just because it's not a grade 3 that does 3 damage, 3 crit. Playing 2 Dance Magicians just because of its defense. Its defense is really nice. It creates a good wall. Next up are 2 of the movers, and when I eventually get Mary Sues, I'm probably going to replace those 2 right there for the Mary Sues. Mary Sue is just too good of a card. Just pay 2 gauge, search for any spell when you bring it onto the field. Next up we have 4 Glass Arts. Like I was explaining earlier, it's a good card, good for drawing. And next up is 4 Kenjis, just because it's a level 1 that does 2 crit, and there's not a lot of these in this deck. Pretty much just him and Glass Art. Playing 2 Mages just because it's 5,000 attack, gets over a lot of things, but not everything though. Also, pretty much to keep up like the wizard count pretty high, or different wizards pretty high, just for Grandfather Clock. Next up we have one Magician of Darkness, or Magic Knight of Darkness, and 1 Magic Knight of Light. And they work well together. They all get like 3k bonuses on their attack and defense, but I usually don't use it like that because I'm not lucky enough to draw both at the same time, and I don't want to bump it up to more than 1 copy of each, just because I'm using these guys mainly for the grandfather clock. Same reason I'm using this guy. I'm just testing him right now. I'm not sure if I want to keep him. Just seeing how it goes, but so far it's been okay. I've drawn it a couple times. I usually put in my gauge and then keep track of where I have him in my gauge and then just activate spells until I pretty much get the grandfather clock. And that's it for the monsters. Next up we have 4 gun rods. Really good card. Pay 2 gauge just to call it or equip it, but then you can just tap it, deal 1 damage, and a monster on your field gains 3k attack. So it's pretty much a burn card. And I'm only playing 4 weapons. I don't really like the other ones or anything. Plus, this deck is pretty heavy on the spells and monsters, so. Next up, 2 grandfather clocks. Really good card. This pretty much lets you use or get an extra turn for free, and it skips your opponent's turn basically. If you have 6 different wizards in the grave or in the drop zone. And that pretty much explains why I'm playing all those different types of wizards, even if they're on a low count. It just pretty much increases my chances of being able to activate grandfather clock more consistently. Next up, one of the best cards in the deck, my favorite card, Magical Goodbye. It returns a size 2 or less on the field to the hand. And you can do it with your own monsters or your opponents, because I do it with both. But then also, I wouldn't want to play 4 because it gets a little cloggy. Because I was testing it with 4 as well, and I didn't like how cloggy it was, because sometimes I just wish I had another monster. The 4th one was another monster, by the way. Or the 4th one was supposed to be another Herb Magician that I took out. Or was the Herb Magician, because I didn't have an Herb Magician until, Can't talk right now, I'm sick. Alright. Next up, we have 4 nice ones, really good card. Use it with Herb Magician, then you get a draw 2 for free, basically. Solomon's first volume pretty much just puts 2 cards on top of your gauge, or 2 cards into your gauge. So, good refiller. And 2 second volumes, just so I can gain extra life back, and also draw a card if I've already used or have Solomon first volume in the grave. Two koshers, just because it's free gauge and free draw. Four nulls, basic. Two chillax, just because it pretty much nulls the attack basically, and then I gain life. And last card is Oops, because it's such a good card. Returns anything. Like weapons, or also one situation was it helped me in a mirror match because my opponent played Hardy and he didn't have extra gauge left. So yeah, I just returned his Hardy so he couldn't use it anymore. So it was pretty much dead, so I didn't have to worry about him getting a Hardy next turn either. So yeah. Let me know what you guys think. And like, comment, subscribe, and catch you guys next time.